Hello, this is Michael Lean with Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. So, welcome you to our Wednesday show. Everything started out with a bang today, and then it drifted off as the bond interest rates jumped up. The 5-year bond had trouble uh, at the auction today, so they had to raise interest rates to attract more users, more buyers. So that's what happened there. Let's take a look at a few of our screens right now. First, we'll go to the S&P 500 heat map. I had to bring it up first, so here we go. Here's our heat map. Microsoft and NVIDIA, Broadcom were up. AMD was up pretty well. Meta and Google, Amazon, all the big leaders kind of finished well, except for Tesla. And then Tesla is down further on reporting its earnings, which were less than estimated. ServiceNow came out and they beat earnings estimates, so they did well. And after the report of yesterday, ASML and Netflix did very well. So we'll take a look at those a little later in the show. So that's our report for the heat map. Let's go show our screen. Here's our annuity screen. You don't want to worry about the possible downturn coming that everybody's been talking about. An annuity may be your best bet. You're never going to lose money. It's going to go up. As a bond go up, so as a fixed annuity does a little better. And as you can see here, it beats index investing by about 5%. It gives you a nice bonus on consummation of your annuity, and then you get the fixed interest rates moving forward, and this is how they beat index investing. As you can see, index investing bobs and weaves through the market, and you can lose money in index investing. So that is the story with that. Let's go to our charts. Taking a look at Wells Fargo, the looks like a couple of financial issues are doing well. This is a Brazilian financial issue. It was up earlier and then pulled back as yield rose, so most things pulled back. Take a look at the financial. It has moved up, gapped up today, so it looks pretty strong here. This just slightly above the area you want to buy at. Look at the dollar. Dollar actually pulled lower, gapped down, and then it fought back to get to the 20-day moving average. Silver gapped up today and then sold off at the close. Gold tried to move higher and then sold off. We got a gap up in copper due to support from Chinese government. So they're hoping that this will propel copper prices actually jumped on this news. FCX jumped as well, big jump there. Southern Copper jumped as well. Vale, all these issues jumped. And finally, Rio. We'll take a look at Ethereum. went up slightly, not as much as Bitcoin. Bitcoin bounced. You can see on Grayscale's chart, it kind of bounced off of the 50-day moving average. Bitty pulled back a little bit, not too bad, only 1%. But it's our thinking here that it's going to continue to go sideways for a while. So that's that. Take a look at our bonds. Bond yields really jumped over the 50-day moving average, really bounced off of the 200 on them having to raise the yields in order to get interest in the 5-year bonds. Affected both the 10 and 20-year bonds, and this had not a very good effect on stock prices. So we'll kind of go a little backwards here. You can see IWM tried to move higher and then move lower, falling to its 10-day moving average on the bond interest rate increase. Dow Jones pulling backward as well. S&P 500 had a stalling day, second out of 3 days, I guess. It kind of stalled over here, and then stalled here towards the close on higher volume. Now we'll look at the QQQ. Didn't quite get a stalling day because I guess the volume was lower than previous 2 days. Kind of felt like a stalling day to me. And the equal weight definitely sold off here, 0.08. And RSP sold off as well, down to the 10-day moving average, and that is quite a sell-off. We can take a look at the VIX. The VIX, after filling the gap, has jumped up to the 10-week moving average or 50-day moving average. So that's the story there. Now let's go to the news. So in world news, the American Petroleum Institute showed weekly crude stocks dropped 6.67 million barrels in the latest week. Gasoline inventories gained 7.2 million barrels, and distillate stocks fell by 250,000 barrels. So just take a look at US oil. As I said 2 days ago, I put a spread trade on UCO, and it jumped quite a bit today. Did at one point pull back to the losing column and then surged right back up 2.3% today. This is really annoying. Screensaver shuts down my information too soon. Closed out. This spread was up in the morning and then all of a sudden turned tail before I was able to close it out. Found out on the other company in biotech that we were talking about yesterday had a buyout by Sanofi. Let me just bring that up once in the box, I guess you could call it. You can see sold off a little bit. It's a pretty complicated sale. They are giving $30 per shareholder. And then if they meet certain targets, there will be another extra $5 put in by Inebrit. And then there's a possibility of you getting a quarter of a share in this new company where they're going to have all the other drugs that they're working on besides the one that they're selling to Sanofi. So that is the story for that company. So Stride or LRN Q2 EPS was $1.54 versus $1.31, but as you can see, it really sold off. Uber downgraded to hold from buy at Gordon Haskett. Had a big breakout, big run here. Pulled back and tried to go up higher, and it had pulled back on this news, and probably the 10-year yield had more to do with it than anything. On to energy, industrials, and materials. Baker Hughes Q4 adjusted EPS 51 cents versus 48-cent estimate, and it continues moving down on that news. Earnings were up 34%. Canadian National Railway said it expects to deliver diluted adjusted EPS growth of approximately 10%. And it wasn't initially moved up and then sold off. People were expecting more, I guess, than a negative 4% earnings growth. Covenant Logistics, Q4 adjusted EPS $1.07 versus $1.03. Moved up higher, and then the bond yields just kind of tanked it. Still up nearly 2% for the day. I guess this is going to continue to fight me all day. On to One Gas. Narrows full year 2023 EPS view to $4.12 to $4.16 from 406 to 422. And it sold off on this news, down nearly 1%. Steel Dynamics, Q4 EPS $2.61 versus estimate $2.66. Initially sold off and then came right on back and surged higher, up 0.34% on the day. Coal ETF launches today, and it's called Range Global Coal Index. See if that comes up. I guess we all have to wait for till tomorrow to get the reading on that one. Financials, Axis Capital Holdings. I guess it's first day of trading, up on EPS up 130%. Moved way higher and then had a pullback. So 0% gain for the day. First Horizon authorized 650 million share repurchase program, and it gaps up on that news, up slightly above 15. Hanmi Financial Q4 adjusted EPS 61 cents versus estimate of 59 cents, and it definitely sold off on negative 34% earnings decline. National Bank Holding Q4 EPS 87 cents to estimate of 82 cents, and it's moving higher, even though it had a negative 4% earnings decline. Trustmark Q4 EPS 59 cents versus 57 cents, right in the middle there. And Veritech Holdings Q4 adjusted EPS 58 cents versus estimate 62 cents. And it gapped down and then fought back towards the end of the close. On to healthcare. Cytokinetics downgraded to neutral from buy at UBS and raised target to $92 from $61, and it didn't do too much, even though it got a downgrade and $92. It didn't come close to that today. It was down 3.57 on the day. Elevance Health, quarter four adjusted EPS $5.62 versus $5.64. Tried to move higher, and then a big sell-off on the close. Bigs upgraded to equal weight from underweighted Barclays based on inventory effect reflecting positively on third quarter 2023 and should continue better in fourth quarter 23 and full year 24. Improving brand heat based on our checks and increasing revenue contribution from its growth segment. So there you have it. It's up 2.4%. Intuitive Surgical, quarter four adjusted EPS $1.60 versus $1.48. Tried to move higher and then sold off as bond yields pressured the market. Walgreens Boots is evaluating options, including the sale of Shields Health Solutions, a specialty pharmacy business it purchased 3 years ago, valued at $48. On to technology, media, and telecom. Netflix, where all the action was today, gapped up. At one point, it was up over $62. Pulled back to $52.68, is up 10.7% today. ASML, quarter four net profit rose 9% to $2 billion. And it gapped up, and it's up 8.85%, up close to $69. SAP, SAG AG said it will restructure roles for 8,000 jobs to focus on growth in artificial intelligence, and a big gap up on that, 6.87% up today. Pretty good volume, and their earnings beat of 48% didn't hurt at all as well. AT&T, quarter four adjusted EPS 54 cents versus 56 cents, and a gap down, and is settled on about a 10 20-day moving average, down about 3%. Texas Instruments, quarter four EPS $1.49 versus estimate of $1.47, gaps down and closes near its low, down 2.45 for the day. Company we haven't heard of in a while, BlackBerry, announces private offering of 160 million of convertible senior notes, and it gaps down because people do not like to be diluted, down over 17%. And eBay is shedding about 1,000 jobs, or 9% of its workforce, in order to better position the company for future sustainable growth. And a big gap down initially, and then it popped back a little bit. It still closes in the lower segment of its range, down only up 0.48%. So there we have that. Let's continue looking at what was trending in the ETF area. Energy, with the oil prices going up, is up 1.4%. Communications, with Google and Meta Facebook moving up, helped that, up 0.62%. Utilities continue their downward pressure. Real estate, strong move down on that bond yields. Biotech is down about 1.7%. Our other biotech is not down as much, hurt by the bond yield moving up, I'm sure. Software was up earlier and then it's pulling back. Technology gapped up and it's continuing up. I'm sure ASML and the semiconductor stocks didn't hurt it much, actually helped. Here's our airlines, slightly move up. Here's your semiconductors. It gapped up and then closed in the middle of the range. Here we see NVIDIA, Broadcom continues up. So that's where most of the movement was, along with ASML, which gapped up. We saw huge move up on massive volume. Industrials, got a little slowdown here in, I think, our internet. Not sure what's going on here. Here we go. Got a pullback in industrials, much like the Dow. Building materials. Yeah, that yield really hurt building materials as well. They tried to go above the 50-day and a strong move down. Metals and mining. Yeah, they tried to move higher and they pulled back to the 10-20-day moving averages. And finally, in their housing sector, they're pulling back on those increasing yields as well. And I'm going to show, did take some not sure why this is going to be in our finally cleared. And now Joe Fang you took some profits on this one today. We're up 28%, so took a third of them off. Now let's see what was moving in the market today. We saw Netflix was the #1 leading company. Super microcomputer continues to move up. We'll see if it hits 500. ServiceNow, which reported after the close, continued to move up. And let's just take a peek where it ended. Oh, it ended lower, actually. Maybe their forward announcement pegged it down. It was up as high as 780 something after hours. Taiwan Semiconductor continued strong to keep the semiconductor index moving. Progressive Insurance gapped up, 141% increase in earnings. In aviation, FTAI Aviation continues to move higher. Limbach Holdings, construction and maintenance service moves higher. And finally, Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's fund, moved up 1.2%. We'll take a look at some losers here. ESTC, we cut from the portfolio, moved down pretty strong. Cut half of our GitLab. On this move, it filled the gap and moved down. And let's see. A couple other issues that we took some profits in Zscaler as well. So everything else, and we got rid of Inbox. And I believe there was one other. So we did take some profits in Kava. I think it's going to continue to move higher, but just want to preserve some of our profits. So that's what we did with the portfolio. And that's our show today. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. If you have any questions, feel free to bring them up. Keep working on your goals and your activities, and you'll be surprised where you end up. If you have any questions, financial questions, feel free to send a comment along or anything that you want to take a look at. We'll be happy to look at them on the program. And in the meantime, hope you have a great rest of the week.